Okay. I think we're recording, but I should probably turn the light on, right? If I can find it. There you go. Is this it? Where is it? Oh, my hand's covering the lens. Hi, everyone. Sorry. I don't mean to get all moody with the lighting here. There you go. How about that? That's probably better, right? It's a bit bright for me, honestly. See Sir Patrick Stewart in the back just chilling. So for the past... Real talk. Real talk time. For the past couple of weeks... Not couple of weeks, it's been a little while. Like, I had a lot of shit going on, right? But, It felt like anywhere that I went was just a shitty place to be. Like, I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to be at home. I didn't want to go to rehearsal. But, you know, like, rehearsal's not that bad. It's just stuff regarding rehearsal made it kind of hell. Like, actually being there wasn't all that bad. It's just all the extra baggage around it. I'm gonna try to talk fast because then these lights turn off. But so life's been kind of shit for a while, honestly. And I've been trying to course correct that over the past couple of weeks, by actually seeing my friends and talking to them more, because that's something that I neglect to do anytime I get like super stressed out, like, especially because it's really hard to coordinate with your friends. And I get so stressed out that I'm just like, I'm not even gonna bother anymore. I'm just like, everyone else is so busy. The only time that I can see my friends, they're busy. So why even bother? So I kind of, I'm not gonna say like I forgot about my friends. I'm just saying that for a little while it was like it got hard to try to be with them. So I kind of just stopped talking to everyone, and I would just go about it, and I would just let the stress succumb to me, which I guess is an awful thing to do, especially considering the fact that if you are stressed, it'd probably be a good idea. Hold on, give me 1 second, because the end of this story is really important right now. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Let's clean up. Hang on. Right, I'm still here. I'm still gonna continue talking. It's just basically the culmination of how my day went today is pressing me right now, and I need to figure out how to coordinate this. Okay, hang on. I'm just. Oh, my dogs are me. There they are. Hi. Hi, kids. Hi, babies. Hello. Hi. And my dog. When my dog tired. That's my dog Angel. You're not gonna see her because she doesn't jump up and jump all over me. But we'll say hi to them real quick before I continue my story. There's the puppies. Let's say hi to the puppies. Hi, puppies. Hi, babies. Hi. This is Honey. She takes after her dad. Annoying. And this is Coco. She's quiet like her mama. Look, you can see the difference in how they're interacting with me right now. Coco is just like, pet me, but, like, not moving around so much. Whereas this one is like jumping around all over. It's trying to find an opening. Trying to find where my hand is. Okay. Let's go clean up my car. Okay. So. Oh, I didn't leave the. There you go. Where was I? it's been incredibly stressful to be me right now. And at times of stress, I do this thing where I isolate myself just because I'm a horrible person. I think I think maybe I can, I don't know, maybe it's just because of the fact that I don't want other people to think about my problems. It's just not me, you know? I feel like if I have to bother someone else with my problems, um it reflects back on me as a person, and how if I can't handle my own shit, then why should anyone else trust me to handle theirs? You know what I mean? And I can't have that just because of like the course that I set myself on kind of revolves around being able to handle shit. You know, I don't want to say I don't want to say like I'm a super genius or anything, but I will say that that's how you start a sentence, right? I'm not a genius, but I know I'm not gonna say I know what I'm doing most of the time, but I will say that I try really hard to at least appear to know what I'm doing, so that people are confident whenever they talk to me, like, you know, like they're confident in what I have to say, just so that, you know, I don't like it when people feel uneasy. I don't like it when I feel uneasy, and I don't want other people to feel the same way that I do, you know. I don't like the feeling that you don't have an answer to stuff that's going on around you. And I know that life doesn't work that way. I know that life is a complicated set of circumstances that just leads from one thing to another. And sometimes shit happens and you don't know why, but it just does, and you just gotta deal with it. And that's where I'm at right now. Life's not great at the moment, and for a little while, I isolated myself so that I could handle it and I could deal with it, and I thought I could come back and I could say that I made it through and no one would have to know. I thought that I could handle it, but I can't. Because there's just too many things happening at the moment that I can't process. One thing that I did have, I'm not going to say that I completely isolated myself. I will say I did have someone with me through some of my strife. And it's a friend I have. I don't want to get too specific, but this is the most specific I've gotten on this YouTube channel, I will say, to the point where I'm actually talking about the stuff that's going on with me. I know in a couple of videos ago I said that I don't really like talking about things that are actually like wrong. I just like referring to them adjacently, you know, like, you know that I'm making a video because I'm stressed out, but you're not really gonna know why, because that's usually not gonna be the subject of the video. I'm just making the video to calm myself down, but sometimes in dire situations, I really need to talk about it. Sometimes because it's a bit too much, and right now things are a bit too much. But at the same time, the stuff that I'm going to be talking about isn't really the root of the problems. It's just something that's going on right now. But this video is nearly 10 minutes long, and I haven't even talked about anything. Anyway. Right now, through all the stress, all I had with me was my friend from, hi. All I had was my friend with me. My one friend. That's all I had time for. And, by isolating myself from my other friends, all I had to do... All I had was to talk to this one girl. And, hold on, let me turn the TV off. Actually, screw it. I'll just move into a different room. So I didn't have a lot of friends to talk to. Honestly, I had her. I had that one friend. And, she's an amazing person. She's great. She's really funny. But for a little while, I didn't have... Could you... I'm trying to pick you up. Okay. For a little while, I didn't really have anyone else but her. And maybe it was circumstance. But every time I was with this person, it felt like all the stress that I had kind of melted away. It felt like you see when I'm with my friends, I as much as I like to not talk about my problems, sometimes they come out. Just because deep down I'm still stressed out. I could be having a good time in the moment, but there's always this underlying like stress happening. And when I'm with her, it didn't feel that way. When I'm with her, it felt like I didn't have to talk about that shit. It felt like when I was with her, the stress didn't exist. It felt like, oh no, my hair's gonna look stupid. I should have just kept that hat on. With her, it felt like that stress didn't exist. It felt like I don't want to say time stopped, but it felt like almost that, I guess. It felt like I didn't need to talk about that stress. It didn't feel like that stress existed at a capacity where I needed to talk about it to other people. I guess it's like it's kind of like me saying that my problems disappeared when I was with her. You know, like for a little while I felt happy. For a little while I felt like nothing's going wrong. It felt like I'd handle shit again, even for a little while. So we hung out every once in a while for like the past couple months or so, and oh, and every single time we hung out, I just slowly, more and more, I like this girl. I'm like, everything she does is so out there. She's so fucking weird. And I just love how honest she is with herself. Like, like how, like some people are just so like scared to be themselves. But her, she just like had no filter, and it was so great because every time she would talk, it was just like she would just talk about like stuff that she liked, and it was so interesting to be to be around someone who could just like openly talk about things that they liked without any hesitation, without any remorse for what other people would think about them. They just like, here's my opinion on something. If that hurts your feelings, sorry, but that's who I'm gonna be. And it was so refreshing to see someone without that filter, I guess. And so I thought, look, I don't know why, because everything you are is something that I'm not used to, but I really really like you. And I realized that about a couple weeks ago. Ironically enough, a couple weeks ago is when she started like flaking on me. Like anytime I would ask her to, go somewhere, there would always be like something in the way. Either like either she just forgot or just didn't want to go or whatever. I mean, like the first few times it was like a proper like excuse. I wasn't gonna like discount it as like a I wasn't gonna call her out. I'm like, that's bullshit. I actually honestly did believe the reasons why she didn't want to hang out, but then she just stopped replying, and so I started getting worried, and so I kind of fell apart, and that's when I started reaching back out to my friends again, and I thought, I mean, it's a really shitty thing to do, but as soon as I lose the one thing that was holding me together, I gotta revert back to everyone else that I kind of left behind. Not I didn't leave people behind on purpose per se, but it was just like these days I'm so busy and I'm so stressed out that my energy usually is just reserved for like one person, and that one person just so happens to be that friend. So as soon as I felt her going away, um, I kind of snapped back into reality and thought like all these people that actually cared about me. I kind of haven't talked to them in forever. So I went back and talked to my best friend, and I spent like a couple days at her house and just kind of like told her everything that was going on. And I told my other best friend about all that, and we've been kind of like meeting up, or at least we've been trying to meet up at least once a week. Like, it's not really working out so well this week, but conflicting schedules, but whatever. Um, so around this time, I'm like super stressed out because like, oh, my friend, she's not replying to me, she's not talking to me. Like, what if she knows that I like her, and that her response to it is to just shut down and not reply to anything I say? And that's, I think, is what tears me apart, because the last 3 girls that I try to ask out has been like that, where instead of talking to me about it, they just shut down immediately and just like don't respond at all. My ex-girlfriend was like that, where to the point that it ended the relationship because she couldn't figure out a way to like articulate and like talk to me about these sort of problems, that it just stewed in her brain. And what ended up happening was she decided on her own that she wanted to break up without telling me, which was a shitty thing to do. But honestly, um, if she had just told me her reasons, I would have been totally okay with it, because it wasn't the perfect relationship. I will say that um, it had its faults, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. Um, I'm gonna get into what happened today, because the week leading up to today, I had been telling my friends about all the anguish I'm going through, about the fact that she's not replying, she's not talking to me. What if she knows? What if this is her way of saying I only want to be friends? You know? Because so often that's been the response that I always get, is like they shut down and then they say they want to be friends, and then I never see that person ever again. We never talk at all. And that's always the trend. It's always the trend is they say no, and then they say I want to be friends though, and I'm like, yeah, sure, let's be friends. And then any attempt I have at trying to be friends with that person just ends up being nothing, you know. um when I asked them like if we're okay, of course the answer is going to be no, but I'm never actually told why. But this girl, she's just so different from any girl that I've ever talked to, that um today when I asked her out, uh and she said no. um and I asked her if we're okay, she said yes. I believe her. So that's the spoiler at the end of this story, is that we went out to go eat, and um I'm just trying to figure out a way to like talk to this girl and ask her out. And she just said, and at the very end, as I'm taking her home, I just asked her out, and she said, I don't like you like that. Sorry. And it was quick. It was cutting, and I can tell that's just kind of like the way she deals with things. And honestly, um, I feel like that's the way to go about it, at least with her. And I'm thinking about it now, and about all the grief that I went through this past week, and I'm thinking, like, really, I couldn't have done any better than that. I couldn't have set it up properly. Like, I kind of just like asked her out, like without any like warning or whatever. But honestly, it's just, I don't know, you know, because I'm thinking a lot about why I started liking her. And honestly, it is really weird, because she's like nothing any girl at all that I ever tried asking out is like nothing at all like her, you know? Like, we have, like, very little in common, other than the fact that I just enjoyed being with her. Like, we're just friends, you know? And I don't know why. I I mean, like, yeah, sure, she's like really pretty, but like, there's gotta be more than that, you know? That would be so childish to just be like, she's pretty, so I'm gonna ask her out. I mean, like, there's gotta be like that common ground, especially after like knowing her for so long, you know? And there was. I mean, like, our hobbies didn't like, our hobbies barely intersected, you know? But I always rationalize that even if you don't have a lot in common, you know, that just leaves you up to do more new things with that person, have new things in common with that person instead of old things that you did before by yourself, you know what I mean? um, so I always rationalize that as, you know, maybe it is just because of how different she was that uh, I wanted something new, because I got burned out so hard by um, other girls that just are, you know, like I don't want to say the same, but I want to say that they kind of interact with me in the same way where um, I don't really know anything about them. I feel like I kind of have to force things out of them, and I hate that a lot, you know. So I'm like driving home, and I'm like, I'm calling my friends, and I get that it's like 11 at night, so they're probably not gonna answer. So, and they didn't. So, um, uh, and I called her and went straight to voicemail because I was like, fuck, her phone died halfway through dinner. So, um, so like later on in the drive, I called her again, and her phone was on, and then she did answer it, and then she's like, hey, and I asked, hey, are we cool? And she's like, oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And I was just like, sorry. And she's like, no, you're fine. And maybe because it was too fresh, but I didn't really have anything to say. But honestly, I don't think it's the type of thing where you kind of have to I don't think it's the type of situation where you have to dissect it. I feel like it's one of those situations where letting it go would probably be the better option. And I guess that's the thing that I forgot to talk about. Is the week leading up to this night? All my other friends that I've talked to about this have been telling me to just let it go, and just forget about it, and just